to finally install one. So in this video, I want to show you the sexy glowing Apple logo mod for the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now I'm showcasing it in jet black just because I think this is the best match for this color. The black on white logo looks fantastic. To install this, I had to travel to Washington DC to actually meet with a guy that's a specialist, you could say. He's been working on tech soldering for over a decade already. This guy is very talented. So he was able to help me install it on my iPhone 7 Plus, and the result is just fantastic. I just can't believe how good it looks. It makes my MacBook logo pale in comparison. It's much brighter. In both daytime and nighttime, it is more distinguishable, which is just awesome. I think this is the sexiest mod you can possibly do right now for the iPhone 7 Plus. Are there downsides? Of course, and I'll get to those in a second, but just looking at it, man, it makes you forget about all the negatives about this mod. It's just fantastic. So it can be done on the 7, 7 Plus, the SE, the 6 Plus, 6S Plus, basically every iPhone model after the iPhone 6. So let's go ahead and show you how to install this. It's not easy. It's definitely doable. Will anyone here watching do it? Probably not. So come here just to enjoy the logo. It's worth it. Whether or not you should actually do this on your device, I'll get to in just a second. Oh my gosh, it is quite the process. I'm not gonna lie. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to install using the current method, but there will eventually be a kit that will be sold that'll allow you to install it by yourself. So yeah, let's go ahead and show you how to get this up and running on your device. And warning for the faint of heart, this actually does require taking apart the iPhone 7 Plus. So yeah, just a little warning for you. And guys, I just want to share, the reason I even made this video was because I wanted to show you it's possible to do. I know that most of you will not even be doing this. I just wanted to show you guys that you can do it and how cool it is if you do. So what you need is a 6S Plus clear logo. You can buy those online. And you need a broken used iPhone 6 or 6S LCD. And that's because we're actually going to be cutting up the LCD back TFT reflector as well as the LEDs. The LEDs are OEM and we're taking them straight from Apple LCD. So that means they're going to be very efficient. So first things first is you need a 7 Plus or iPhone 7. This could be done to either one, and go ahead and unbox it as step one. This is the jet black 7 Plus. I've actually never even seen one of these in person before, so it was quite beautiful. Anyways, you want to go ahead and loosen the two pentalobe screws on the bottom of the iPhone and go ahead and remove those. Next up, we're going to want to heat the outside of the iPhone, the bezels, in order to weaken the adhesive. And again, this is the same adhesive that's protecting against the water resistance, so make sure to buy a replacement. Then go ahead and go around the display, and you can save the existing adhesive if you're very careful. Specialists are, but you probably want to install a new one. Go ahead and open the display from left to right, as it doesn't open up anymore. Be very careful with that, or else you can tear the connectors. Go ahead and unscrew the metal plates that are holding down those connectors, and that way we can detach the display and have more room to work with. So once we get those out of the way, things are a little bit easier. So go ahead and remove the sticky adhesive that's holding the battery down. There are two tabs on the bottom of the battery. This is very difficult to do, but with the right amount of patience, you will get them out evenly. So it does help to actually heat up the back of the iPhone, the housing, a little bit as well, to go ahead and remove those. But not too difficult on a new iPhone. They're still pretty fresh. Go ahead and remove the battery, and now this is most of the hard work as far as disassembly goes. So you want to cover up the logic board and the top components with some heat shielding, and to remove the Apple logo with minimal damage to it in case you ever want to replace it, apply some isopropyl rubbing alcohol to it, and then go ahead and heat around the edges. This way it'll go ahead and weaken the glue holding it in place, and with a pry tool underneath you can go ahead and gently go around it until you eventually remove it. So to do it carefully, it does take a little while. You want to do it properly with a good amount of heat, so I think a heat gun is absolutely necessary. So once you get that out, most of the difficult work is done. This is where the technical stuff as far as soldering and knowledge in electronics comes into play. Now you want to trim the Apple logo edges to allow LEDs to sit in between them, and we're going to go ahead and go to that broken iPhone 6 or 6S LCD, and you want to peel back the backing and you'll find a row of LEDs. So you want to remove 4. They are soldered on, so you want to unsolder the connections and go ahead and individually test these LEDs, as some of them may be faulty. So make sure they're all working, and then go ahead and apply some heat shielding to the back housing of the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. That way we prevent any shortages from happening, but we're using insulated wire, so that shouldn't even be an issue. Anyways, place the LEDs with the connector side up, glue them with a little dab of super glue, and go ahead and solder the connections in a daisy chain from LED to LED, leaving you with 2 long wires, one for negative and one for positive. So you want to make sure to test those and have them separated, as we will need to solder them to certain areas on the connector for the LCD. Go ahead and test them here through each daisy chained LED to make sure they are working. And with those extended wires that we will actually elongate so they'll reach the connector of the LCD, just have them sitting there and go ahead and tape them so they're not crossing. Anyways, peel back that little piece of tape on the LCD to reveal the connectors, and the negative connection you're gonna solder to the connection pin number 1. That's going from left to right. Left is number 1, right is number 7. On the 3rd pin, that's where you want to solder the positive connection. The 4th is also a positive, but it just has too much voltage. So pin number 3 is the correct one. Once again, the negative goes to pin 1, positive to pin 3. Also, from that broken LCD that we use the LEDs from, you want to cut up some of the backing and apply it to the back of the logo so it reflects the light. And I would recommend you go ahead and test the connection. So plug in the battery and the lower display cable and test if that logo is working properly. So before closing it up, you want to insulate the wires completely so they're not crossing, not touching the housing, and that can be done easily with insulation tape. So go ahead and seal the iPhone back up. If you did apply a new seal, make sure it is installed properly to ensure the water resistance capabilities are kept. If you're using the old one, make sure it's not torn and still very even across the border of the phone, and go ahead and pop the LCD back in. So you should have a very even and flush fit to ensure the water resistance is still there. The display should not be raised in any way. In the end, you should have a very, very beautiful looking product. It'll be a very even flush fit, and the logo should light up as is proper. So this matte black iPhone 7 Plus only has 2 LEDs, and on camera it's very difficult to see, but with the 4 LEDs it's much brighter, more even look on the logo, even brighter than that of MacBooks. I thought that was very surprising. It's brighter than Apple's very own. So it looks very good, minimal battery drain, and I think it's a perfect look with the jet black. It looks good on any color really, but I think this is something that should have come with the iPhone standard. And it was a sad day today when Apple actually revealed the new MacBook Pro, and it no longer has this feature. So you can now live on your personal iPhone using this awesome mod. Fantastic look. I'm just impressed so much. Now, how does it work? Well, depending on the brightness of your display, it will change in brightness. So I have it all the way. You can definitely tell it's starting to glow more, and the darker your environment is, the more you'll notice it. But I can tell you right now, this thing will catch eyes. So you'll actually get people coming up to you asking what the heck you did to your iPhone. I was on the phone and some random person at the airport came up to me and asked me if this was the new iPhone model. He wasn't aware that they didn't come with this feature. So I think that's really funny. You'll get noticed. It's definitely something really nice, something that stands out. Are there downsides? I can think of a couple. For one, will the battery get drained? Just a little bit. Guys, I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that this is not as bad as you think. So the drain, if at all, if you'll notice, it is very minimal. It's just powering 4 LEDs. You can put 2 in there if you want even more minimal drain, but depending on your brightness, that's how much it will take. So your iPhone has a lot of LEDs powering the backlight. This just has 4, so they're very efficient. They're Apple OEM brand, so it shouldn't be a problem. 2, waterproofing. That's going to be the big question on everybody's mind. We disassembled it. We tampered with the seal. Will it affect water resistance? And the answer is, it depends. Are you willing to buy a new seal? A new seal is only going to be a few dollars. So if you want to reapply a seal on the iPhone, you can absolutely keep the waterproofing if you damage the old one. The main point is, if you disassemble this thing, you can keep it water resistant if you do not alter the seal. If you open the phone up and tear the seal, it's going to be bad. But if you carefully carefully go around and adjust the seal and leave it in its place, you can keep the water resistance. So that shouldn't be an issue. Worst case, just order a new one for a few dollars and replace it right away. You'll be able to keep your water resistance. Another issue is this does void your warranty. This is like a $700, $800, $900 phone and you're disassembling it. Of course, you're going to void the warranty. So for the people that don't care, that want this regardless, yes, you can do it, but is it recommended? Of course, you'll void your warranty. So it's definitely not recommended for the people that want to keep warranty. I can think of no other negatives really. I mean, I really haven't noticed any impact to usability. My phone does not heat up, not at all. Believe it or not, even on max brightness, there's no difference whatsoever. Yeah. This doesn't speak for any kits you may buy. This is a custom homemade LED mod for the iPhone 7 Plus.